Good evening and welcome to Suffering in Silence with Pastor Tia here on Love Bay Afrobeat. Oh my goodness, love it. I was just telling Ayanah that, you know what, this is live. It just happened. So, all right, let me just start again. Good evening and welcome to Suffering in Silence with Pastor Tia here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We are here with you every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. Love Bay, we are rising out of the ashes together. Our topic on tonight is Dear Sngles. I'm excited about this topic. We have with us our co-host for tonight, Minister Ayanah Marks, and our guest for the evening is author Nia Rose. So we thank Nia for being with us on this evening. Listeners, if you have any questions or comments for our guest or our co-host, see her beautiful smile. You can email us at sufferinginsilencedv@gmail.com, or you can text us at 437-778-3299. If you have any resources that you would like to share with us on a local level from your nation, your country, your community, any local organizations or your faith community, you can also email us at sufferinginsilencedv@gmail.com. And right now, Minister Ayanah, if you would take a moment and just greet our viewers and listeners on tonight.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have a very good podcast. A very good conversation will be held. We hope everyone is engaged. We hope everyone takes a piece of information from today's conversation we're having, and we just hope everyone have a safe and a peaceful evening.
Thank you so much. With that, Nia, would you introduce yourself to Love Day on tonight?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Nia Rose, the author of Dear Sngles, and I'm just excited to be here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I feel your excitement. I see your excitement. So, listeners, we're going to start as we usually do with sharing some resources. And I want to, as usual, offer the opportunity if you would like to help us at Rise Out of the Ashes, Inc. If you would like to donate to our organization, you can visit GoFundMe and look for our page, Rise Out of the Ashes, Inc., or you can write a check out to Rise Out of the Ashes, Inc. Our address is P.O. Box 15, Drexel Hill, PA 19026. We assist victims and survivors of domestic violence financially. We assist with resources. We do as much as we can. The largest part of what we do is providing immediate and emergency funding to assist with doctor's visits, transportations, relocation, food, utilities, medication, whatever it is that we can do. That is what we try to do. And if you would like to help us to do that, you can reach out and help us financially. I want to share in Philadelphia, Women Against Abuse. Their website is womenaganstabuse.org. Their 24-hour emergency hotline is 866-723-3014. I want to share Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence, formerly known as WAR. Their address is 1617 John F. Kennedy Boulevard, Suite 800. Their 24-hour emergency hotline is 215-985-3333, and their website is WOAR.org. We also have the African Family Health Organization. If you are from Africa or the Caribbean living in Philadelphia, AFHO can help you with domestic violence awareness and support. They also provide help with behavioral health services and emergency food and housing assistance. They offer services in French, Yoruba, Mandingo, Bumbara, Swahili, Kinyarwanda, Icon, and also Arabic. Their address is 2420 South 54th Street. They're on a second floor. Their website is afaho.org. Their phone number is 215-546-1232. And if you go to their website, they will have numbers listed where you can access what you need by whichever language you're looking for. Then we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Their website is thehotline.org. Their number is 800-799-7233. And then for our teenagers, we have the National Teen Dating Abuse Helpline. Their website is loveisrespect.org. Their number is 866-331-9474. And with that, Lepe, we move into our topic on tonight, which is Dear Singles. I want to start with reading Nia's bio. I read it and I thought it was beautiful. I was wiping a tear away from my eyes. So
Oh.
so I want to share your bio, and then we can just move right into Dear Singles.
Okay.
So from Nia Rose, I have a passion for storytelling and find joy in crafting tales. My writing journey began in elementary school, fueled by a dream of one day publishing a book. When not immersed in writing, I enjoy creating various art forms. I take pride in my creativity and craftsmanship. Family means the world to me, even though we sometimes see things differently. Being a multitasker is just part of who I am. There is rarely a moment when I'm not engaged in some project, as my loved ones can attest. I recognize that my perfectionism can be challenging. It often causes me to spend more time on a project than necessary, but I understand it's part of my journey. Nia Rose. Thank you so much for being with us. So I want to turn the floor right over to you. If you could please tell us, what is Dear Singles and why did you create it?
Okay. So first, Dear Singles is a book. It's a dating guide for young Christian singles. So it's not a book just for females, because when we hear about books and dating, we're thinking about, okay, this might be a book for females, but it's for both females and male. So this has been in my heart for a long time, and I wrote it because of what I see going on in the church, and also my own experience with the dating. So I figured I share my experience with other young people about dating as Christians.
Mm-hmm. So when you started it and you call it a dating guide, I know you said young people and for men and women.
Mhm.
Was that in your mind when you started it, or as a completed project, can you say, all right, this is for an entire group? Or did you already have in your mind, this needs to reach different age demographics? It needs to reach different people in different areas for different walks of life. Did you have that in mind when you started?
Yeah, so I had it in mind first for young Christian people, because of what I saw going on in the church. So my passion is for young people. But as I am writing, I realize that it could be for older people as well, like
Mhm.
not just young Christian people, but also for older Christians who are interested in dating. So, yes, at this point, it will definitely help older Christians as well. Definitely.
Okay. And I know you said that it was for Christians, but like, can someone of a different religion or no religion at all, will this be a dating guide that's helpful to them as well?
Yes, there are many. There's several nuggets that is embedded in the book. So even if you're not religious, there are things that you can take away from it, because it's not heavily laden with scriptures or preachy
Okay.
stuff, or say, okay, you have to be a Christian, or as a Christian, it's not that way. So anybody who is interested in dating, they can pick up the book and find something in there for themselves too.
Okay. So, and you said, thank you, Stacy Hewitt. Yes, it is a book for everyone. Um, so you said that your own experience
Hmm.
brought this to your heart, your own experiences while you develop this. What did you see? What did you experience? Because I can tell you, I saw.
What I experienced or what did I see? Which one? Because I can go
Right.
both ways.
Let's do both of them because I can tell you, I know we've talked about singles ministries before. I hate singles ministries. Every singles ministry that I participated in sucked. It was like it was no fun. Like, all right, let me say what I have in my mind. So I think a singles ministry is supposed to build the single person, like help you focus on yourself. If it has anything to do with religion, okay, then of course, how does God see you as being single, and focusing on yourself. I think being single, that's like the best time in your life. You can do what you want to do, go where you want to go, build yourself up, work on your finances, work on your education. And to me, it's like, if we're going to be all together, let's have fun. Go bowling, roller skating or something. I didn't see that. I like, it was like everybody like just switching phone numbers, like who going to date who now? Who like what? I mean, it was like too much, too fast. Like, you don't know my name. You asking me for my phone. Like, can we? So that's what I saw. That's what I experienced. So tell us what you saw and what you experienced.
Well, what I saw was how young people treated dating, and the things that they did. I was like, oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And I always tell myself like I would. It may sound horrible, but I said I'll never date anybody that goes to my church. Never, because it was awful. And I'm thinking, what if it doesn't work? Then I don't want to be at church anymore. It would not be a haven for me. So, oh no, thank you. But I see the things that they've done, like even when I was younger, um, you know, the dating circle was brutal, and I did not want to be a part of it at all. And then with my own self, my own experience, like, if I had known, what I know now, I wouldn't have done that. Like, why? you know so I'm like, wow, if I had, we sometimes we say, like, if we had the opportunity to go back in time, we would have done things differently. So that
Yes,
was
Lord.
my thought. And I'm like, watching other people doing these things, and I'm like, okay, I've been through this already, and I could tell you that this is not going to look right. So I started talking to some young people about dating, and I was like, you know what, I think, I could write a book about this, to help others so they don't make the mistake that I made.
Wow. So I have two questions. So one, when you say young people, what is the age that you're speaking of? Because there are kids in elementary school now.
Right. So the age group that I was talking about is like teenagers. If I'm looking at it from their singles, I would say that for the age group, it was 18 to 25 and up, if people want to indulge in it. But it's specifically for those people, because at 18 you're done with school or getting ready to go to college, or starting your life out as a young adult. So you're thinking about dating, or you might want to do that. So I figure that start early, so that you can learn some stuff that will help you in your dating journey. And I think by the time you get to 25 or older, you should have gained some knowledge already, regarding life, and that could help you with dating. So I figured that was a good gap. But then doing my research, and you know doing with my beta readers, I've had beta readers who were 30 and up, and they found it interesting. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not saying, okay, it has to be, it's just for those person. Nobody else um older than 25 cannot read it. But no, that's not the case at all.
Okay. And so I want to ask you this, and then Ayanah, I'll go to you for a question or comment. But Nia, I want to ask you, is there a specific definition that you use for dating, or throughout the guide or at the end of the guide, do you allow the reader to come to their own conclusion? Because I think that is a huge issue with dating, that everybody's not on the same page. What one thinks dating is, another doesn't. So dating for some people is, it's fun. Dating for another is, a prospect for marriage, or at least committed. Not seeing 2 and 3 and 4 people at the same time, but one person. But and somebody else might not think or feel that way. So, do you have a definition of dating? And what's your definition?
So the definition, you just mentioned it too. That was the second last thing that you said. And it is dating with a purpose. So if you're dating with a purpose, then that means you're dating for a godly outcome. So I would say dating with the with marriage in mind.
Okay. Okay. So with that, I just want to throw this in there, and I'll go to you, Ayanah. And specifically thinking of the age group starting at 18, I just want to throw out there, like, being in a relationship is not the end all be all. Like, it's okay to be single. It really is, especially when you're 18, 19, at 20. It really is okay to not define yourself by being with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Now, no matter what anybody else around you is, no matter what the world or the holidays or whatever, like, it really is okay. And everybody is not going to have that story of, I met the love of my life when I was 17 years old, and 60 years later, we have a million grandkids and we're all together. That's not the norm. Now, and I know it happens. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but at 18, your focus should not be trying to find a husband or trying to find a wife. Build on yourself. If you're going to college, go focus on your studies. If you're not going to college, and you want to focus on whatever career you want, whatever it is you want to do, focus on yourself. Focus on becoming a whole person and being who you are. For when you do meet somebody, you're adding to their life. Like, 2 people should be adding together. Like, one person shouldn't be like completely building up another and just holding them up. Like, I'm bringing all of the money to the relationship. I'm bringing all the common sense to the relationship. I bring all the sensitivity. No, you should be a well-rounded person. And being single, that's the time to figure all of that out, who you are. Not when you actually get linked up with somebody and then you're trying to figure out what's what. Because you can damage not only yourself, but you can damage that other person that way. So, Ayanah?
Okay, I just got I don't got a lot of questions, just maybe like 2 or 3. Like, what advice would you give a young woman or a female who wants to get into her craft more, or is like maybe writing her first book or wants to write her first book?
Wow, I love that question. I was expecting that one, but
she did it to me last week. Ayanah is deep.
I love it. So, Ayanah, my advice is, if that's what you want to do, you go for it. You go for it. You have something to say, then you say it. Like, it's a beautiful thing, when you can put, words together to form, your thoughts or ideas, and be willing to share it with the world.
Yeah.
So I would encourage anyone, any young people, anyone to write a book, even though it has its challenges.
Yeah.
So I'll put that out there. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, but definitely go for it.
Wow.
You have something to say, you say it. Like, start writing. Like, all you need is a blank page, and you just start writing. Just let it flow.
All right, and Nia, Cameron can't wait to read your book. So you gotta let us know when it's coming out and where.
Yeah.
It will be coming out soon. Remember, I have that perfectionist.
The perfectionist part.
But yes,
you're gonna have to let it go eventually. You're gonna have to let it go. But Ayanah, you
I
have
think their
another
singles
question?
is ready.
Yeah. You spoke about challenges. How do you face challenges when like while you were writing your book, or how did you deal with distractions that came your way while writing your book?
I entertain them, the distractions, because at some point I run away from it.
Mhm.
Like there are times when and that was also part of the challenge. Like I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I struggle with um imposter syndrome at times, and
Mhm.
then I just feel like, oh, look at you. What do you think you're doing? You think you can write a book, huh? And all those negative things that comes to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not. I'm just not. So I'll do everything. I'll watch a movie. I'll do something. I'll braid your hair. Oh,
Yeah.
you need me? Sure. Just to, But then, I'll sit down like, okay, all right, you've had your fun. Now it's time for you to get back to it.
Yeah.
So I like to. I find like I get inspiration from a lot of things. Like I'll look at what others are doing, or
Mhm.
like I like to craft, so I look up new crafts to do,
Okay.
stuff like that. Or just talking about my book, people ask me, "Oh, how is it coming along?" And then that will spark, start a spark, and then I'm like, "Yeah, I need to go back to it now."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, Love Bay, I have to share too. I would be remiss if I didn't. Not only has Nia written her own book, but she did her artwork. She designed her own cover. So she is, when she said creative, she is extremely creative. So I think that is just beautiful. I don't know why you keep hiding it, girl. So I mean, I've seen the artwork, I've seen the cover. It's beautiful. I can't
thank
wait
you.
until it comes out. I want my autograph copy. Love Day, we will definitely let you know when a book is available. But Nia, my next question for you is, what areas do you address in your book on dating? Like, do you talk about abuse, or dating after divorce, or dating for fun, dating for marriage, as you mentioned before? But I think there are some issues we can overlook,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we try to be nice, to the person
Mm-hmm.
sitting across from
Yeah.
us. But there comes a point in time where, like, if we're spending this time together, if we think that this is going somewhere, we
Mhm.
need to be real, and you need to be honest about what you see and what's in front of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at some point, do you deal, I would say, specifically with those two issues of abuse, and then those who are divorced and are trying to move on and date again?
Um, so we dive in so much, so many. I went in real deep. Um, I start off with the self. So talk about confidence. You know, I talk about loving yourself, self love, self care. Talk about mental health.
Mhm.
I talk about relationship for those who have never been into a relationship. I address those, like, and I also talk about people who may have been in relationship and went through a breakup. And I did dabble a little bit into people who have been divorced. Like, well, I didn't really mention the divorce part, but I talk about people who have been in a relationship and it ended bad for them. I did talk a little bit on abuse as well, physical abuse, mental abuse, a little about narcissistic people, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I did cover some of those um, topics.
So can you speak to the point of, like, in I think especially how you would address this with a young person,
Yeah.
how you what you see in front of you, take it to be real. So
Mhm.
if you see a controlling attitude in front of you in that dating process,
Yeah.
uh, don't fool yourself. Don't think that that's going to change if we keep pushing forward.
Mhm.
Don't think that you're going to change a person, like if we stay together 2 3 years, or if we get married. So if you have that 18 or 19-year-old that you're talking to, or that's reading your book, what would you specifically say to them when you see, like, you're talking to a person who won't even let you finish your sentence? They're actually telling you to think, controlling your words. How do you, in your book, or how would you, speaking to a young person, how would you guide them with that?
With dating or about red flags?
I think the red flags that you see within dating, like,
Okay.
not ignoring them, because, like, the dating part, like, you got a chance, you can get out of this, like, we ain't
Right.
attacked,
Yeah.
it's a whole lot harder. You keep going down that road, and you living together, you got bank accounts intertwined, you got you done picked up and moved halfway across the country for this person. So when you see those red flags in the dating process, what do you say, or how do you, in your dating guide, how do you direct a young person with that?
Well, first I said, like, when you see these things, like, do not ignore them. Do not ignore them. Do not pass it off like, okay, this is a one and done thing. Like, you pay attention to that. And I also say, when somebody show you who you are, which is, somebody told me that already, before, like, when somebody show you who they are, you believe them. So if this is what they're doing, don't say, oh, they're in a bad mood, or, oh, maybe it's because of what I said. No, you never put the spotlight on yourself. Don't blame yourself for anything. So if you see red flags and they are there in front of you, do not ignore them. Do not settle at all. Like, that's also a part. Do not settle at all, because you want to be with someone. So I do stress that, like, if you see them, pay attention.
Yes.
They're real. And then some, and I also say, like, if sometimes people appear to you like, they're ready for a relationship, but they're not necessarily ready for a relationship. There's some things that they themselves need to work on within themselves, which will not be good for the relationship. So pay attention to those red flags, those signs.
Yeah. I mean, you in that scenario, you can't do anything when you're dating. You're going to put your best foot forward. I mean, that's what the average person would do.
Right.
But and when you're in this process, when you see, all right, this isn't exactly what it's cracked up to be, like you said, don't ignore it. Don't turn it. You can't wish it away. You can't.
Right.
No. If it's in front of you, believe it. But Ayanah, did you want to add to that?
Yeah. So, like, with social media nowadays, how do you think social media plays, like, a big role with, like, dating, especially in a younger generation?
I'm smiling because I have a whole paragraph about social media. Because I was attacked by social media too during my experience with being single. And like I said in their singles, it is not what it cracked up to be. Those little few minutes of clips that they post, and everything seems so grand, and everything is perfect, and they have the best relation. That's a lie.
The right lighting, or
take the picture. They're judging yourself because you're like, oh my gosh, man, look at them. Wow. Not knowing that that's just for the camera, that's just for the likes, So I would just encourage people, like, do not pay attention to social media. Do not feed into it. Do not get caught up in its grip, because it's vicious. It's vicious out there. And they're not going to really tell you and be honest and like, okay, we're just this is just for likes. This is not really true. The way they present it to you, you're like, you really buy into it, because I buy into it. I did. And for a minute, I was like, oh my God. And then you start feeling less about yourself. You feel like, you're, why you can't get a relationship like that. Like, am I not good enough? So am I not worthy? So yeah, don't get drawn into that.
Okay. And I have another question that connects to that. What advice would you give, like, someone who's, like, trying to change their self or their standards to fit someone who in reality doesn't really want them, but likes to, like, how do I explain it? They don't really want them for them. They want them for what they can give them, but don't want to fill them up or like provide them with something.
They're gonna suck them dry.
Mm.
Like I would walk away from that. That's not going to be a healthy relationship. That's not a healthy relationship at all. Because then, if you're looking to receive and not give, then the outcome is going to be, is going to be a horrible. Because then, you're always giving. That person's always giving, but then you're not getting anything in return. Eventually, you're going to be dry. You're going to be tired, and then you're not going to have anything left to give.
Yeah.
Like honestly. So I would have like if you're in a situation where somebody just wants to receive from they don't mean you any good. 'Cause if they did, they should be looking to pour into you, not for you to be pouring into them. You come into a relationship, it shouldn't be about, okay, what can this person give to me? It's supposed to be, what can I do for this person?
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be.
Right. So, and I think that's what people in general. Young people may have a harder time because they haven't had life, they haven't had experience, but I think that's what people in general need to understand. If you are coming together in a relationship with someone, it's not about you. If you don't want to make that person better, if you don't want to help them, and I am not talking about an unhealthy situation where you are just doing everything and like you're becoming a parent to a child. No.
Right.
If you are not ready to step into someone's life and you don't have a vision together and like we are doing this together, we're working together, but I want to see you succeed. If you don't want that, then you don't want a relationship, because a real relationship, a real committed relationship is work. You want to see the best for the other person, and that person should be wanting to see the best for you. And so there's going to be some compromise, but if you are for each other, then great. You will work it out. You will get through it. First of all, you need to be friends. It's like nobody knows how to be friends. Like if we can't be friends, then how are you going to have this close and intimate relationship? And people are basing relationships on things that have nothing to do with friendship. They're basing it on money. What can you do for me? What can you buy for me? Relationships are based on sex. Okay, but when sex is over, it's over. So it's like, do you even like this person? That's a horrible situation to be in. When you have given yourself fully, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially to a person you don't even like.
Yeah.
Can you talk? Can you watch TV together? Can you turn off everything and be in the same room with this person? Can you be in silence and feel comfortable? Can you have a conversation? There is a lot to it than just being with the person. And also, we don't want to paint a picture like relationships are just supposed to be rosy and perfect. Two people have two different minds. You will have some arguments. You will have some disagreements, but you can have a healthy argument. An argument doesn't mean that you're yelling at the top of your voice.
No.
An argument doesn't mean that you don't let this other person finish what they're saying and you just keep cutting them off and you won't let them get their thoughts out, or you're trying to make them say what you want them to say. Now, an argument, like we can be really heated and still say what you need to say, and I say what I need to say. We can even agree, let's take a break for a minute, and then maybe let's give me a couple of hours or we get back to this tomorrow. But you can argue and still respect each other. That doesn't mean that glasses are flying across the room. That's when you step into abuse. So we're not saying that dating is perfect, but you should have a common ground. You should understand we respect each other. I can say what I need to say. I can feel what I need to feel. And you're not just going to bail on me because I have a mind of my own and I think. So nothing is perfect. So we are not saying that at all. But you need to be wise about what you do. Definitely. And I think your dating guide, it really is good for younger people because, again, they don't have life experience. Man, I swear, if I could go back, knowing what I know now.
I'm telling you.
Oh my goodness. But yes, life is life. Life is real. And I want to ask you another question, but I want to say this first to those people who are divorced. There are a lot of people who feel, and they've been told that they're not allowed to move on after a divorce.
Right.
And that is not true. And especially if you have been in a relationship that was abusive. The Bible does allow for abuse. And I have heard spiritual leaders say in front of churches and congregations and conferences that you're not allowed to get a divorce for any reason other than infidelity. And that's not true. And so on that issue, I always offer Gretchen Baskerville's her book, Life Saving Divorce. Her website is lifesavingdivorce.com. That's also the title of her book. And the specific scriptures that are given, because some people actually need to hear it and see it and know it for themselves to feel better. The Bible allows for divorce in cases of adultery. We know that. Everybody knows that one. But it allows for divorce in cases of abuse and abandonment. And the scriptures are, the first one is Matthew 19, verse 19. In this scripture, Jesus allowed for divorce for infidelity. And then in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 14 and 15, the Apostle Paul allowed for divorce because of abandonment. And then when you go to Exodus chapter 21, verses 10 and 11, the law of Moses allowed for divorce for abuse. And also Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 11 to 14. So yes, the Bible does allow for divorce when the case has to do with abuse and abandonment. So I want to say that for anyone who is in that position, yes, you are allowed to get a divorce, a life-saving divorce. And if you are divorced, you are allowed to move on in your life. You are allowed to date. You are allowed to remarry if you so choose. Even within a marriage, it may not be abuse that is present, but if for whatever reason the two of you decide that you need a separation, you need some time away from each other, the Bible also allows for separation. And that scripture is also in 1 Corinthians and chapter 7, verses 10 to 14. So those of us who need a biblical answer to that, there it is. Now, I didn't need one. I didn't need the scripture to tell me I don't have to stay in here and let this man kill me. I need, but some people, you want to hear it, there you go. And God would not have you to stay with a person who's tearing you down mentally and emotionally and physically, somebody who's making you play Russian roulette, somebody who's threatening you, you can't sleep at night, somebody who won't let you have money to do what you need to do for yourself. God is not telling you to stay in a situation that is physically, mentally, and emotionally dangerous and spiritually dangerous to you. So I just want to throw that out there. So, all right, now, my next question for you. So do you speak at events and conferences? Do you go to singles ministries, youth ministries?
No, but that's the objective of Dear Singles, is not just to write the book to say, okay, here you go, here's your guide, and keep it moving. I do want to get involved like that. I want to do speaking engagement, like you said, and speak to young people. And I wanted to start with them there because young people, you say it's young, they shouldn't be thinking about dating or serious relationship, committed relationship, or marriage, and but they do start. You have young people who have started as early as, like, you said 17. And that's why, I started with 18, because at that time they're thinking about it. So by the time they read the book's supposed to be prepared in their minds. And it doesn't mean by the time they're done, they're like, oh, I can get married. It's nothing like that. It's not just saying that, okay, they're singles, find someone, get to know them, then get married. That's not what Dear Singles is about. Like, you go through all the stages, like you're preparing yourself. And let me also put this in there to say that even though it's about dating, it's also about having a relationship with God.
Yeah.
So if you're dating with the intention of getting married, then you need to have a relationship with God so you can have a relationship with that person. So Yeah.
So, Ayanah, do you have another question or comment?
Just one more final question. What advice would you give your younger self in the dating process?
Don't do that. I'm sorry.
Yo,
Oh,
Ayanah is a real one.
no, I was telling you that's what I would tell my young self. Do not do that.
Mm.
There are so many things I would say. Oh no, don't do that. Because yeah, I thought I knew it all. I thought
Mm-hmm.
I knew that. What the approach that I was taking
Yeah.
was a good, was the approach, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, because I had a mindset like, I know this, I can do this, I can handle this. That was my mindset. But I would definitely tell myself that, you know, have a greater relationship with God. I did have a relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just enough to keep me saved.
Yeah.
It wasn't as in depth as it is now that
Okay.
I'm older. And I would tell myself, like, take care of you,
Yeah.
because I grew up hearing people saying, like, I'm looking for my second half, my
Mm-hmm.
second half.
Mhm.
So I felt like, okay, I'm here now. I did what I'm supposed to do. I went to school, graduated, went to college, graduated. Now I'm ready for, my second half. So I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for my second half. But there's no such thing as a second half.
Mm.
You're your own, you're single, a whole person. So if you're looking for the other half, that means you're saying that you yourself is not complete and you're looking for someone to complete you. And that mindset is not the right mindset you
Yeah.
want to have get into a relationship. I also struggled with low self-esteem. So I
Mm-hmm.
figured having a relationship, having someone telling me like, "Oh, I like you. I'm interested in dating you." I feel like, "Oh, wow, I'm not doing bad for myself." I felt like, okay, because they want to date me, that adds to me, but that wasn't even it either.
Yeah.
So, work on me, build on myself. Just like what Pastor Tia said earlier about finishing school, going out, having fun, because the single life is sweet. That's where it's at. You find out about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worrying about someone else. So I would just embrace my singleness and not worrying about being with anyone else. I'm being with someone to complete me.
Oh. So I want to address a couple of the comments that our viewers put in. Arlene Lyle, she said that it's not one-sided. I think that she meant that a relationship is not one-sided. Like, that's what I was taking it as. And so I completely agree with that. And I think, Nia, I think what you were saying goes to that a relationship is not one-sided. It's not just one person doing all the work and putting everything into it. And then also, you can't bring half of yourself wanting something whole, because it's broken. One broken
Mm-hmm.
person looking for another. And Stacy earlier said that the church doesn't speak about relationships, which I know we can't speak like in general for the entire church as a whole, but
Great.
where I am, what I've seen, I agree with that statement. I don't see the church speaking about relationships, healthy relationships. And also, to couple with that, I don't see the church speaking about abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we knew what a healthy relationship looked like, a lot of us would not be drawn to or in relationships with the abusive person or the
Yeah.
controlling person
Great.
or the manipulative person. So that is something that I don't see in the church. And so I think what you were doing, I think you're dating God. I think bringing this to young people the way that you're doing it, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's needed. I think
Yeah.
it's helpful. And I really do wish that it was something that I had, that I, saw, because it was like we were pushed in so many different directions, but nobody said, hey, if you want to be in a relationship, this is what a healthy one looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And also with that, being in a relationship doesn't mean that you have to give up yourself.
Exactly.
You can
Yeah.
still have your life. You can still have your dreams and your goals. And I think knowing who you are, knowing your purpose, knowing what you want, knowing what you need, I think that helps you choose the person that you're going to be dating and moving on in
Mm-hmm.
life with. So if I already know, like me, like I'm in ministry, I know what the cost of ministry, I know what it takes. So I already know somebody in my life has to be aligned with that. If you're not, then it's not going to work. Maybe we can be cool, we can be friends or whatever, but to come together in a real relationship, you telling me like, bro, you don't want to go to church at all, that's not gonna work for me.
Exactly.
Like, that's not like, you ain't got to be a pastor, but come on. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's gotta be something.
but really, I mean, if you want to, if you are aspiring to become a doctor, great. Do you know what it's going to take for you? All the doctors that I've seen, I mean, the hours that they work, and lawyers, I mean, it's like they work 80 and 90, 100 plus hours a week. If you
Mm-hmm.
already know that about yourself, then you know this person that you connect with. Look, do you want to be married to a lawyer? Do you want to be married to a doctor? Do you want to be married to a police officer? Do you know, a police officer, every day, he or she, they're going to work to put their lives on the line. Can you handle it? Can you handle a person in the military not being able to see your spouse, or this person you're trying to do a long distance relationship, not being able to see them for months or even a couple years
Mm-hmm.
at a time? But if you already know that about you, if you already know your purpose and your career and what you're doing, then it's just some things you can just cut out right at the beginning. Like, we don't have to waste each other's time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'll save a lot. So learning who you are, and I gotta throw this in there, and I will ask you to speak on it as well, Nia. Um, if you are not happy, if you can't make yourself happy, if you don't know what you like, nobody else can do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is not another person's job to make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you respect me, um, talk to me like you have some sense, care about me, but it's not your job to get up and make me happy every day.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's not your job to figure out for me what I truly need and want in my heart. Now, there are some things that only God can do,
Exactly.
and that's a real thing. We put too much onus on another person, and that's not fair. We can't do that. Nobody is responsible for your self-esteem and your self-worth.
Yeah.
Should I encourage you? Should I tell you, yes, you are handsome, yes, you are beautiful? But if you really don't know that and don't believe it for yourself, it's not fair to put that, on me or on that person. So I would ask you to share your thoughts on that. It's not somebody else's job
Mm-hmm.
to make you happy.
So I do agree with that, um, because I had that mindset growing up that if you are single, nothing is going on for you at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a relationship, you had it all going on for you because somebody cares about you and somebody wants to be with you. So I felt like that was happiness,
Mhm.
but it really isn't, because you have to be you have to be enjoying yourself. You have to be able to, how would I put it? You have to be able to be content with yourself, before, pairing up with someone else. I strongly believe that, because what if whatever that happiness goes away,
Right.
what can you do for me now? Because you're not making me happy anymore. So what is this?
Yeah.
So I would say, don't go with that mindset. And like, I have a part in the book that talks about, like, let's see where we're at. All
Mhm.
right, why would you want to have a relationship? Are you looking for someone to complete you? Are you looking for someone to make you happy? Are you looking for someone because you feel like you're alone?
Mhm.
Let's look at this and see if this is exactly what you want. Is a relationship what would necessarily be right for you at this time? And if I don't think so, because any relationship that you want to enter in, it starts with you. So you have to work on your self-esteem, um, take care of yourself, because that's also a part of a healthy relationship. You take care of yourself, eat healthily, so that, take care of your body, and
Mhm.
that helps your to give you a healthy mind, do meditation, exercise, eat right. That's a big a start of a healthy relationship, because when
Mhm.
you take care of yourself and you feel good about yourself, then you're not going out there for the wrong reason, searching for a partner. So
Mhm.
you work on you first.
Mhm.
Definitely work on you first, and then after that, do you want to be in a relationship still? Are you content with just being single? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think Arlene and Stacy are saying the same thing, that you have to love yourself before you can love anybody, and you have to be
Mhm.
secure in yourself. If you are not comfortable with yourself,
Yeah.
you're not going to be comfortable with another person. Not only are you not going to be comfortable with another person, you will make another person uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do damage to another person, and even if it's not purposely, but if you down yourself all the
Yeah.
time, if I compliment you and you throw that compliment away, you
Mhm.
consistently do that, you
Mhm.
put that other person in a very awkward position. um Ayanah, was there something that you wanted to say?
Oh no, I was just listening. I'm just taking notes because
Okay.
I'm a young one and I'm learning my way through, and I know that this book will really help not only me but people in my circle or people in my like youth in my
Yeah.
community. It will really like help us to really understand what love really is, because we know love based on what social media shows us. We don't know love based on what reality shows us. So we
No.
have to learn what love is based on what reality shows us instead of what based off social media shows us.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I know who your daddy is, Ayanah. He ain't
Yeah.
playing that. So. But yes, and I want to thank our viewers and listeners just for all your thoughts and your comments, and I want to thank you for being here to support Nia.
Mhm.
One of the last things that I wanted to throw out there, I wanted to get your thoughts on and see how you handle it in your book, is that over a period of time, over your life, over your age, conversations that you have change. So the conversations that I would have had at 18 when I was dating, that's not the same
Right.
today. I'm 48. I mean, I need to talk about a credit score. I need to know. I need to
Exactly.
talk to me about a 401k. Like I need, like, I don't want to hear nothing about no movie. Like, I can take myself to the movies. So with your age and with experience and where you are in your life, the conversations do change. So is that is that something that you address in your book, or how do you address it, or
Yeah.
or
There are many things, because it's a dating guide using real life experiences, which will be my real life experiences. And so definitely my conversation, like, not only that, my thought process is so much different. No, my confidence, leveled up over the years. And I realized, like, things that I was concerned about back then wasn't I didn't need to be concerned about them. But
Yeah.
I couldn't have told my younger self that, because that was, you're going through the growth process.
yeah.
So um it changed, because now I'm telling people, like, enjoy yourselves. Like,
Mhm.
it's great being single, you know, you don't need anyone to make you happy. Like I said, I thought, if you were in a relationship, well, you got it going on for you, but it's really not that. And then, you know, enjoy yourself, live with yourself, before wanting to be with someone else, because a relationship comes with a whole lot of challenges.
Yes.
Two separate people coming together, and you have different mindsets, so you'll have conflict. Conflict is going to come up, challenge is going to come up.
Mhm.
And for the young people too, like, they all think, sorry, Ayanah, but they think they know it all,
Yeah.
and you don't know anything. What do you know? You were just born big. You don't know. I'm going through it, so they think that you don't know what they're going through, and what you're telling them, it doesn't, it's not sensible. But like, you're still young, so
Mm-hmm.
therefore you haven't gone through certain experiences, so you don't know how to approach certain challenges that would come up in a relationship.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at the time, you may think like, okay, I need to be in a relationship. Like, what's up? Someone says in a relationship, what does she have or he have that I don't have? Like, what's up with that? So you feel like your worth comes from having a relationship. It doesn't.
Mhm. And I completely understand it. I mean, it was like, man, if I didn't have a boyfriend, the world wasn't right. Like, it was like you were supposed to have a boyfriend,
Yes.
even if you really didn't like him that much. Like, you were supposed to be with somebody until until the right one came.
Right.
It was just like that. Like, that's what was modeled in front of us. You were just supposed to be with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
not even building a life together, not even having a vision
Yes.
or a purpose, but you were just supposed to be with somebody. Looking back now, as an adult, we can see, all right, that didn't make sense. But look at what we had to live to get to that point, to know it and understand it for ourselves. So again, what you're doing, I think, is a beautiful thing. And thank you so much, Nikisha from London, who says that this is an interesting topic. And Arlene says she's going to buy your books for her boys. So you have to let us know where we can get it and when it's available. But again, I just thank you so much for doing this, because I believe that it's needed. And
Mm-hmm.
I know I've said this to you before. I believe that there are words for you to speak and write that individuals are not going to hear unless you do it, unless you speak it. So unless you have these events, these conferences, unless you put this book out, somebody's not going to hear what they need to hear on this dating process. So I thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to throw this out there as you were speaking. You talked about being at a different level now.
Yeah.
Who you are and where you are. Your conversation changes, your
Yeah.
confidence changes. You do, as you grow and you love yourself and you learn yourself, and not even just yourself, but you learn the world around you.
Mhm.
Read some books, go
Mm-hmm.
out, you travel, try different foods and do different things. You do learn and you grow in confidence within yourself, and that right there is just so beautiful to be able to say, yeah, I
Mhm.
tried that and I did that, not
Right.
because another person wanted me to, not because I wanted to impress somebody else, but I went and I did that for me. So your confidence does grow as
Mhm.
a person. And when
Mm-hmm.
you grow as a person, then you will grow in confidence being in a relationship with someone, because you learn how to communicate. You
Yes.
learn how to sacrifice. You learn how to compromise. You learn those things. But I really believe it's only as you grow as an individual, which means, I think, two things. One, you have to be willing to look yourself in the face, in the mirror, and
Mhm.
say, this is what I need to do for me. If I'm jacked up in this area, I need to get it right. If I
Mm-hmm.
need to grow in this area, I need to grow. I need to do whatever. And I think the second thing is setting boundaries for yourself.
Oh yeah.
What will you allow? What will you not allow? If you let somebody talk to you, however, while you're dating, again, please don't think that that's going to change. If you let somebody just treat you however, when you're dating, it's not just going to magically disappear if that relationship continues. So being honest and real with yourself and
Mm-hmm.
setting boundaries. I think young people have to learn and grow into that. And so it really makes, I think, dating difficult for a younger person because you're still trying
Yes.
to find out who you are. Like
Yes.
I was 18 when I got engaged. I was 20 years old when I got married. I did not know who I was when I got married. I
Mm.
became Mrs. before I knew who I was as a Miss. And it was very difficult when I was in that spot, like then understanding and figuring out who I am. And then at the same time, unraveling um, the mess that I was dealing with that I didn't expect, that kind of like just seemingly came out of nowhere. So I think my views on dating young and being married young, like that's I'm biased with that. I know I am because I see what happened not only with me, but I mean it was like my friends, like everybody's like we're getting married, and not it wasn't a thing of you're doing it so I'm going to do it. It was
Right.
just like that's just how it was. Like you link up with a person and that's just it. But to be able to hear today an adult who has some experience and is saying you're going to do it, let me
Mhm.
help you do it the right way.
Right. Right.
I think that right there is awesome. Um, and that I want to say this, and I will ask you for your thoughts. Going through a relationship, you make mistakes. And I'm talking about a healthy relationship. I'm not talking about abuse. Uh,
Hmm.
there's no justification for any kind of abuse, physical, emotional, mental, verbal, none at all. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a healthy relationship. In healthy relationships, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes
Right.
you can have, that right person before you and you just weren't ready for them. Like you wanted to date several people and they, were like, no, this is what I want, or you just weren't ready for whatever reason, or you chose the wrong person. Something you can make mistakes, but
Yes.
it's okay. Like it's not the end all be all. Like it's not over. Like I've known people who literally said, I let the person get away, and when I went back to get them, they were gone, moved on, and happy with someone else.
Right.
That doesn't mean that your life is over. I'm not saying that that's not going to hurt. Um, but we do make mistakes. Sometimes you do let the right person go. Sometimes you make the wrong decision, but it's okay because I can see how some people really beat themselves up, and it's like, all right, I messed it up with a great person, and now I'm just not worthy of anybody. No, that's
Right.
extreme.
Right. Right.
So I would ask you for your thought on that one.
About after breaking up.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you can move on. And sometimes, a breakup is your fault. I've seen, and again, I'm talking about a healthy situation.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
not
Right.
talking about abuse. But I mean, I've seen some people who you just made a real dumb decision. You walked away from a real good person.
Well, like I said, there learn from your mistake or learn from your experience, So, there's always something to take away. So see what you can take away from that experience, and don't rush into another one. Like, give yourself time to heal, because healing process is important, because then you realize you may hook up with somebody just because, like, I don't know how to be by myself, or I don't want to be alone. Sometimes maybe you're just trying to get back at the person. You don't want to use anyone
Yeah,
like that. You want to make sure that you take the time to heal, reflect on the relationship, reflect on yourself, and see what you could have done differently.
Mhm.
And take time to heal. Don't just thrust yourself back into the dating world, because it's not going to be. You want time to breathe.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that would
And
be my takeaway.
I think what you just said about the healing is very, very important, and taking time for yourself. I would say that that's something that young people really need to get and understand. you can be in a relationship and you really care about a person and you really love that person, and for whatever reason it comes to an end. That's not the time to immediately go run into another relationship.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you do need that time to heal. When we don't take the proper time to heal, and when we don't deal with ourselves, when we're not honest with ourselves, and when we're not setting boundaries, we create or open a space for bitterness to come in, and then we can take out on what happened in a previous relationship. We can take it out on the next person.
Exactly.
But and as Stacy just said, if you take the time for that self-reflection and understand, okay, why did this end? Was it supposed to end? Was this something, were we in agreement, in the beginning? All right, maybe just for the summer we'll hang out or whatever. And then I wanted something that we didn't agree with. You got to be honest.
Right.
Or, we did commit to, a long-term relationship, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. All right, why did it not work? You have to just really be honest. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't try to make it be something that it was, but just be honest. And I think when you sit and when you go through that self-reflection is self by yourself. You don't need your girlfriends talking in your ear. I would have did this and I would have did that and he wouldn't have. No. you don't need that. You don't need your boys telling you what they would have done and what you should do. No. Self-reflection is a very, very grown-up thing. And so to guide our young people through that, I think is an amazing thing, and it's something that's needed. And
Yes,
if you're the person directing them and guiding them in that, then I see some good things coming from our young people. So again, I thank you for what you're doing. We are a bit over the hour. I know we have to go, but I want to ask you, what would you leave us with if you had one thing you wanted to pull from your book and throw out there? What would you leave us with on tonight? We just gotta buy the book and read it.
Yeah, it's so much, but I'm gonna say, love yourself.
Yes.
Learn to love yourself before you can before you try to love someone else. And then you get the book, you get so many other nuggets.
So do you have contact information if anyone wants to contact you right now for more information, or do we need to wait on that?
Well, I have my Instagram information. I also have Facebook information where you can reach me, and I also have a Gmail, and it's just my name for the email. It's my name, Nia Rose author Nia Rose at gmail.com. Sorry, author Nia Rose at gmail.com. And for the Instagram, it's the same thing at author Nia Rose, and then for Facebook, it's Nia Rose.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for being with us on tonight. I definitely would love to have you come back and be with us if you would agree to do that. I thank you so much again for what you're doing. I think it's a beautiful idea and much needed. Thank you so much, Ayanah, for being here. That girl keep you on your toes.
Oh yeah, I love it. We can talk some more, Ayanah. I love it.
But thank you both so much. I will get some information to you, Nia, so you can come back and be with us. But Love Bay, thank you for being with us on tonight. If you want to catch up on previous episodes from our program, you can visit our YouTube channel, Suffering in Silence DB. Thank you for joining Suffering in Silence with Pastor Tia here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We're here with you every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Love Bay, we want you to remember that we are rising out of the ashes together. Good evening.